All right, guys, I'm going to get started. I'm not planning to keep people here for too long because I want to get on with the move ups and a few other things. So yeah, basically the reason we're doing the Sota today at this time is so that we can spend the day preparing and doing move ups and such. So we'll get this out of the way to start with. I've not made it a secret of where we're going or what we're doing. We've been talking about it a lot over the last week. There's been several pings, but of various nature. But just in case people aren't aware, we are basically going to be deploying heavy assets back up into the Fade area to assist B2 against the invasion of Winterco and PanFam into their space. So what does that mean? Basically, there's been a list of ships provided that we're going to be moving back up there starting today. There's some ships have already been moved up. We have a staging Fortizar in DO6 that we're going to base out of with our own market, our own cloning, etc., etc. And we're going to be moving a couple of ship doctrines up. So the main ones that we're going to be moving up, guys, are dreads and carriers. Okay, we're not moving supers and titans this time. We'll be moving dreads and carriers. Along with that, we're also moving the TFI doctrine, which has been renamed from Voidhawks to Strikers. Lightbringers, which are Zealots. Dreamcatchers, which are Tengu doctrine. Pika Fleet, which is Stormbringers. And I just realized now I misspelled Stormbringer on the last newsletter. And then the bombers of the Daisy Cutter A and B type variants. That's Purifiers and Hounds. They are two separate bomber types. Okay, so if an FC asks you for an A type bomber, you bring an A type bomber. You do not bring a B type bomber. Okay, so those two different bombing fits are very important. Alongside those, we're going to move Ghosts up to DO6 with Feroxes and Ospreys. Now, on that, guys, there will be subcap move ups and capital move ups. If you can fit all of your ships into your capitals, then brilliant. If you don't have a capital, you can ask a corp mate or a friend if they can move your stuff. Or you can just join the subcap move ups as they go. Subcaps will be able to join at least today on the capital move ups. So there will be subcap fleets happening at the same time as the capital fleets. There's going to be a capital fleet at 11:30. The reason we're moving Ghosts up is because this deployment is going to be a jump clone deployment. Okay, we are not going to be sitting in DO6 waiting for hostiles to do something. We're going to move our assets up. We're going to have jump clones there. And then when there are timers or when a fight is kicking off in the north, we will either burn up in interceptors or we'll jump clone up. Okay? Never jump clone though before the call is made to jump clone, please. What that means is we can basically respond and counter, or at least plan to counter, the capital escalation that we've seen in the last couple of weeks that keeps happening. All right. The reason we're moving Ghosts, like I said, this is essentially a jump clone deployment, but if there is a 50-man gang roughing a jump bridge or something that we need to respond to quickly, or we need to help out allies with, or we just want to get in on a fight without burning our main character jump clones, we can just log in Ghosts and form in DO6. All right. So we're moving Ghosts out of B170 up to DO6. I expect that we will probably still spend most of our time, probably 85 to 90% of our time, game time, in Fountain. Okay. There is going to be a lot of effort going into moving stuff up there. We've ordered several thousand ships also from our allies up there, so that we can reship if we lose fleets. So we are essentially opening DO6 as a second home, I suppose, rather than just another deployment area for the duration of this war until we see what happens. I have no interest in us invading fraternity. I don't necessarily view fraternity as the bad guys, although I know people will debate that. I definitely do see PanFam as the bad guys, and I see this as an expansion attempt overall into the Northwest that that they just want more space. Fraternity do as well, but I think for different reasons. We do not want these guys on our border. Okay, Fade is a little bit far away if you look at dotland maps, but in reality, Fade is not far away at all from the border of Fountain. We do not want Chinese time zone Sov beside us, because essentially it's not impossible, but it's very impractical to take that Sov back. So we're better off trying to stop it being taken in the first place than try and retake it at a later point. Okay, so that's the main reason we're doing this. I also don't like to see two major coalitions punch down on groups like Brave, on groups like Blob. When Blob are they're an offshoot of Volta, but they are a relatively new group that functions alongside Brave separately to Volta. They have their own fleets. They were previously renters. Basically, there's a lot of punching down going on up north, something that PanFam is historically well known for, whether it's Provi or other groups. They like to punch down, and it always kind of sucks to see that to an extent. So that's one more reason, if we needed it, to go back up and help these guys properly. We could continue to help them from Fountain, but our options are limited, and it's a lot of effort to get back up when there's a capital escalation. So we need those assets. We need those assets up there, basically. We'll be leaving Supers and Titans, and Buffer Fax is back in Fountain, along with Void Hawks and a bunch of other doctrines, basically all of our other doctrines. I don't expect there to be any major disruption in Fountain. We will still be able to kick the shit out of anyone who comes to Fountain. And like I said, I foresee about 85 to 90% of our game time being spent in Fountain or doing normal day-to-day things. So I don't expect there to be much change there, guys. Just for the Astartes members, I've already said this in pings, but I'll refresh it again. We will be deploying from Venal back to DO6 next weekend. Okay, so this weekend it's focused on moving from Fountain up to Fade, and then next week, as we had set out 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we'll be on deploying from Venal, but instead of back to Fountain, it will be back to DO6. All right. Give me 1 second, we're nearly there. Because we're talking so much about capitals, guys, I just want to remind everybody that we do have the capital development program, okay, which basically is going to provide skill books, the expensive ones at least, or the majority of the expensive ones, to initiative members who have been part of the Alliance for over 6 months. So if you are training a Dread Alt, if you're training a Carrier Alt, if you're training a Fax Alt, if you're training for a Dread the first time, go to the wiki, look up a capital development program. If someone wants to stick it in iGeneral, that'll be great. And you can basically apply for capital skill books there. The contracts are a bit slow at the minute. I will do more of them tonight to get them out there. But growing our capital fleet is priority number one for us as an alliance this year, guys. And we're definitely getting there. We have a long way to go still, but we're definitely getting there. And anything that we can do to contribute to people's, skill or pilot development is something we do want to do. There's not really a whole lot else I want to go through. I just wanted to explain the ghosts and the ships. I wanted to reassure people as well that the day-to-day life in the Fountain is essentially not going to change at all. the doctrines we're moving up are what I would consider to be offensive doctrines anyway. They are not really stuff that we would use for home defense. They're stuff that we use to go and project outwards with. Kickies and everything else are all staying in Fountain. Yeah. I know some people have also been asking about Lancer Dreads. There will be fits and stuff for Lancer Dreads coming, but they are not a priority at the moment. So if you're training into a Lancer Dread, if you're an older player or you're a more experienced cat pilot and you're training into a Lancer Dread, that's fine. There will be fits coming in a while, but like I said, they're not priority at the moment. In more Alliance admin news, guys, I just want to remind everybody, specifically CEOs and directors, that the Alliance is a tax-based income model. We are on a tax-based income model. I've noticed myself, and it's been mentioned a couple of times in different channels, more and more people are selling things via contract in the market channel, okay? I would strongly recommend that people go and reread the rules. The basic, the gist of it essentially, just for everybody here, is that if you have a capital ship, you can sell that via contracts because we want to grow our capital fleet. We don't want people to get caught up on taxes. If you happen to have a spare ship that is rigged that you are looking to sell to, whatever, for whatever reason, that is fine. It is not okay to fit rigs to ships and then sell them via contract, intentionally bypassing the tax. We've already caught 2 people doing that. They've been kicked from the Alliance. Anyone else doing the same, it's a lot of work goes into managing this that we really shouldn't have to follow the spirit of the law, right? So no fucky with the market, please. As well as that, there's been an uptick in people buying and relisting. That is also going to start resulting in you being kicked from the Alliance. This is basic stuff. Don't fuck over your allies, and people doing it are just going to be removed. I don't have the patience. I don't expect anyone else on the Alliance teams to have the patience to deal with this. It's a very, very, very tiny amount of people, but there are people doing it. So I would like people to rehash to their corporations, no fucking with the market, okay, at all. Just give me 1 second. The jump bridge map is something I've been meaning to speak about properly in the newsletter. I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'll just mention it briefly here. As most people are probably aware at this point, the jump bridge map in Fountain got updated recently. There was a lot of work went into the planning of it, so I just want to say a special thank you to Norman and Ava, especially, who basically wrote a program that chucked every system in Fountain into the blender, and it spat out results to basically optimize the route around Fountain from B170. It's pretty cool. It was a lot of work, a lot of back and forth on it. Waking done the vast majority of the heavy lifting when it came to replacing jump bridges and stuff. But that jump bridge network is now fully up and running. We are running, I think it's 35 jump bridge connections in Fountain. The monthly costs are quite high, but I think it's definitely worth it. The route has been optimized to where of 115 systems in Fountain, 110 of those systems are now within 5 jumps of B170. With the remaining 5 being 6 jumps from B170. So that is, I think, an insanely good turnaround, and it means that we can get to and respond to roaming gangs and, or people who want to reach kind of more remote care-bearing grounds. It's been a massive improvement. So I just want to mention again Norman and Ava, who put in a ton of work optimizing the route, and then Waking, who who basically made the route swap happen, as well as the fleets that get pinged out to help defend those cover or to cover the jumper just when they were being swapped over. So basically everyone who's involved in that, just well done and thank you for getting it done. There was a small issue where Mumble went down. I think it was last weekend or during the week. Aaron has very kindly got a second backup Mumble up and running now alongside our main Mumble. So if the primary Mumble goes down, the secondary Mumble will hopefully be unaffected and we can use that. So it shouldn't be an issue going forward. Last night I done a brief or semi-brief, I suppose, capital session, if you want to call it that. I know capitals are new to a lot of people. It's something I want to do more of across time zones so people can ask questions and get answers to those questions. Also maybe with a visual demonstration. So that's definitely something we want to do more of, and I hope people find it useful. I suppose just in terms of economy, very quickly, we recently hit a milestone that we've been aiming towards since the start of the year financially. I'm not going to go into detail on what that is, other than to say that we've reached that milestone now, and we'll start looking to the next one. So things are looking good, guys. We have a new corp joining us over the next few days. Waking sent a ping about it last night. We also still have a lot of people looking to join. We're being quite selective with who gets in at the moment. There is a lot of interest from various parties, but some are just too small to take on. And then likewise, the corporation reviews have also started. So CEOs and directors already know what's going on there, but basically we just want to make sure that everybody is you know, that every corp is somewhat healthy and active. And yeah, that's all I have on that. Sorry, I'm just reading through my notes here. I don't think there's a huge amount else, guys. I suppose the last thing is the Alliance jobs have gotten a bit of a reshuffle recently. There was a lot of applications put in. So I just want to thank everybody who applied. I'm sorry not everybody got in. It's very generous of people to offer their time to help with these things. Some people just weren't in the Alliance long enough. Others, various activity reasons, maybe didn't get in. I don't know if the shuffle is fully done. Waking and the guys were sorting a lot of it. I think there's still a little bit of it going on. But in the most part, I think we have the Alliance teams. Basically, we wanted to add more people to them. The various teams like infrastructure for fueling or procurement for getting Alliance supplies and different things like that. I've said it before, but we have close to 100 people or so on various teams, from SRP to Diplo to FC teams to infrastructure teams, ghost teams. Basically, if it's an Alliance program or facility, there is a group of people working behind the scenes on that. We have about 100 people working or volunteering their time basically behind the scenes. So I'm not going to go through everyone individually, but you all know who you are, and great job, and thank you for the time you put into these things. Okay, so in about 7.5 minutes, guys, we're going to start getting the fleets up and running. We're going to do capital and sub-capital move-ups from Fountain up to DO6. I expect hostiles will try and interrupt us one way or another as we move up there. There will be more move-ups later today and then over the next few weeks as well to get ourselves settled up there properly. But for me, yeah, that was it. Thanks for sitting in. Hopefully people have a clear understanding of why we're going up there, what we're bringing. And yeah, I'll see you guys in 7 minutes or so.